move the agenda around a bit. Is that correct?
Kind of cut to the chase here. A great many of the noted violations have been remedied, so that we're really just down to a couple of things that were on the addendum that I gave you. So simply let's go to this was a renovation of a commercial structure into a residential structure that's being used as a short-term vacation rental. The project started without permits, and city had to issue a stop work order. In the time since then, which goes back to February of 24, the project's been mostly brought into compliance. Permits were pulled. Let's see. Inspections have been taken care of. One of the microphone's going back and forth. One of the sticking points was it was a technical fourth unit that had been added.
The fourth unit?
Yeah, and that's basically just about removed. The only outstanding thing is basically a final inspection by the building official to verify that the kitchen's been removed and secured properly. So,
just to be clear, your testimony is that it's not been completely removed yet, but there's an intent. You believe that it will be removed?
They just sent pictures today that showed that the stove has been removed. They may need to do some wall patching or anything like that, but fundamentally the building official will go in and say it's good, and that should be the completion of that. There was a comment from the fire marshal about an existing deadbolt that separated the former garage to the house. That's been removed. There were some outstanding fees for permits. Those have been paid.
When were they paid?
Because Monday, I believe.
So that's a change from what's written on the...
Yeah, I think it was either right after I wrote this or during when I was writing this.
So all fees have now been paid?
The fees have been paid. I don't believe the certificates of occupancy have been issued yet, but I think that final inspection is the only thing that's really standing in the way. And then once all that's complete, they would just need to register the short-term vacation rentals with the city to really complete the outstanding items.
So on the amended agenda, if you will, the things that still are necessary is to obtain the COs, have the inspection to show that compliance with the kitchen removal, and register all units as short-term vacation rentals.
That's correct.
And what is the city's recommendation then for...
we felt, a reasonable amount of time would be 60 days. I feel like they're probably within a week or two of being complete, so I think 60 days is plenty of time to accomplish it. And once they do, that should be the end of it. If they don't for some reason in the next 60 days, we'll be back before you to potentially request fines.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to present at this time?
No, I think we're
okay.
Everybody's on the same page now.
Okay. Is there someone here on behalf of Parish Rentals LLC? Please state your name and your address, and the clerk will swear you in.
My name is Brent Parrish, 725 3rd Street North, Jacksonville Beach, Florida, 32250.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for being here. So you've heard the city's testimony. They are saying that you would still need to obtain consent, COs for the project, and have the inspection to confirm and determine compliance with the kitchen removal, and that to register all units as, I guess that would be 3 units only,
Yes, ma'am.
as the short-term vacation rentals. What time frame do you think that you need to accomplish these
I
remaining?
would really ask the city what time frame they need. I have come into compliance and I have begged and pleaded for the list that was just provided to me by Mr. Papale for 2 months. I have been trying to get clarification. We actually paid for an occupational license and was actually given an occupational license. We were mailed back our check. We weren't even mailed back our check. We were mailed back the amount from the city of Jacksonville Beach, the checks that we paid for the occupational licenses. So the interpretation that I had of the quote unquote 4th unit was when it was verbally explained to me very kindly by one of the, ladies up at the office, said that you can rent one side or the other or the whole thing. You cannot rent both sides separately. So my interpretation was simply just that if we couldn't rent the higher cost unit in the front, we would just at least be able to recuperate some of our funds by letting someone stay in the back. Maybe I misunderstood that, but no one would clarify that for me. I was stonewalled and completely just ignored anytime I came up to ask simply for clarification. I have not been unamenable to do anything. I truly appreciate the list that was given to me today. This is all I asked for. What I was given, and I believe in your last meeting, the last 10 or 15 minutes of your meeting was spent discussing how the city could communicate better to citizens, to give them the proper direction instead of just giving them vague ordinances for them to interpret. So interpretation is a big basis, I believe, for Ms. Rapalli's position, as well as Ms. Ireland's. They have to interpret the code, which is very difficult. And so if I'm interpreting it different than they are, they should probably explain it, or at least give me a very specific directive. I wasn't given a directive to take a kitchen out by Mr. Rapalli nor Ms. Ireland until Monday. So if they had just done this 2 months ago, there would have been no issues. Instead, I'm sitting in front of a magistrate, honestly kind of embarrassed. This has cost my family. It's cost me a ton of money. It was uncalled for. And I feel like it was just a matter of a public flogging, frankly. So I've rectified the problems that were brought to my attention on Monday, as I have every problem that the city has asked me to take care of through a ton of adversity. And I'm just asking that they'll come out and provide me with my CO. That's all I want.
Well, it looks like you're in the accomplishing much of what the city has said is required.
Yes, ma'am.
And, I would just add only one comment, and that is, it's pretty standard knowledge that if you're going to be doing work in a building, you need to come down and get the building permits. So I would just say that in defense of the city, that those building permits are necessary, and most people know that. So I think I think you and the city have worked well together more recently, and it seems pretty obvious to me. And so really my only question is, do you disagree with the things that are still on the list?
Absolutely
The list
not.
contains, are you
I'm sorry, I
aware
didn't
of
mean to cut
any?
you off.
Pardon?
I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. I didn't mean to cut you off. I spoke before you were finished speaking.
Oh,
I apologize.
let me just go through them. Are you aware of any permit fees that you think are still necessary? Because you've heard the city staff testify that they that all of the fees have been paid.
Mhm.
You in agreement with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you in agreement that you still need to get your certificates of occupancy for the project
Yes, ma'am.
at this time? Okay. I know based upon the city's testimony, you've provided them some photographs of the kitchen removal from the garage. Please understand that that will still have to be inspected. So in my order, it will still show as something that has to be done. It appears to me that it's your responsibility to schedule the inspection to determine compliance with that kitchen removal. Do you agree with that? Do you have any question about that?
Yes, ma'am. I've already emailed the city officials this morning, so hopefully that will suffice. It's a little bit of an uncommon
So
situation.
you've initiated that
So I want to
request.
make sure. Yeah, I've asked them individually on an email. This has been an uncommon situation to just schedule an inspection. So yeah, I've certainly initiated it.
Okay. And then the last thing is that you must still register the 3 units. It says all units, but there's only supposed to be 3.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
my understanding from reading the record and everything. There's only supposed to be 3, so that you will be registering those as short-term vacation rentals.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then let me the city has said that they think that it probably only take a few weeks to accomplish this. How much time would you like? Because my order is going to say either 30 days or 60 days to the next scheduled.
If you would make it 3 days, that would be better for me.
How
I'm
many?
totally ready. It's really just getting the city
Well, it's going to have to come
initiate.
back next month,
Okay.
just so that I can determine that everything's been.
Whatever the shortest amount of time is. Then.
Okay, so we're going to say, maybe what we'll say is 14 days from today for
Okay.
compliance, and then it will come back for,
September 24th. September 24th is the next hearing.
okay, thank you, for September 24th. For the city to present where we are, and that hopefully I'll be able to write an order that says that you're in full compliance.
Yes, ma'am.
So, is there anything else you want to say at this time?
Just if there is anything, even if it's outside of this list, I just ask that the city provide it specifically, not vaguely, so that I can correct whatever needs to be corrected. I just want to correct the matter at hand. I don't want to have to read through 8 pages of ordinances that, frankly, don't read specifically to my situation.
Well, understand that they have to do that for notice to the landowner.
Mhm.
That's mandatory. I can't, they don't have a choice. They have
Maybe
to
just general
identify
practice.
they have to identify each of the ordinance code sections that have been violated. They don't have any choice. So, it's not easy, but their job isn't easy either.
Agreed.
So, anyway, I'm going to basically continue this. I'm going to find that these are the items that remain to be concluded, that the city's testified that all violations have been complied with except for these, and that you'll have 14 days from the date that I sign the order, and then we'll be back here on September 24th to just simply, hopefully, just wrap things up.
Perfect. That sounds great. And there's just one more order that if you don't mind me, I just thought about. So on the website, my previous business partner had access to our website. I didn't have access to it. I've since gained access to it and have removed what would look like a 4th unit from at least everything that I could see that was there. I just want to make sure that there's no issues with that as well. I know it's not mentioned here, but I just don't want something else to start coming up from something I can't
Right. I
foresee in
mean,
the future
you
to
just
cause a
need,
problem.
right. You need to be aware that every city I know of dealing with that has short-term vacation rentals, they look regularly at the websites to determine whether the owner is complying with the local ordinance code. So just be aware of that. That they, you know, you're in, uh, you know, and monitor your own website to make sure that there's not
And
something wrong.
I'm trying. If there's something anyone sees, I'm kind of in a position where it would be appreciated if someone could just bring it to my attention ahead of the game, because I may not know it's there. I have not just these issues at hand. I'm dealing with some other personal issues that
Right.
tend to cause these issues.
Okay.
So
Thank you very
I
much.
appreciate you.
Is there anything else on this case,
Nope, we're
Christian?
good.
No. Okay. So we will move on. Thank you very much for being here today. Hold on 1 minute. Let me write a couple notes.
Get sworn in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And please state your name and position.
Nikki Beavers Walker, City of Jacksonville Beach Code Enforcement Officer. All right, Your Honor, we are
Okay.
going to,
So we're going to move. Do you want to move to the old business case?
yes, we are moving on to old business, B. That's case 25-318. This is,
I'm sorry. Which one? Okay.
yes,
I have a question. There is a new property owner listed here, Millennium Trust Company. I don't recall seeing that name.
Yeah.
Was that on the others?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
In my
doing
head, I've
business
just
as
thought of it
Austin
as being
Surf Shop.
Austin. Okay.
Yes. Your Honor, this was
So that's not a new owner.
no.
Okay,
No,
great.
both of them are listed on here.
Yes.
Case number 25-318, this was for a non-conforming sign. As you can see in Exhibit A, the damaged sign, which was pretty much just a pole at this point. And this is a continuance from our last hearing. This case was started back in May. And this was the notice of hearing that was posted. And as you can see next to the notice of hearing, that the pole has since been removed. And that was on August 7th when I did a reinspection, so this case can be closed. They're in compliance.
Great. That's wonderful news. I will issue an order to that effect. And they're not here.
No, they're not here.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to hear that. I'll issue an order finding that, based on the testimony, that the landowners come into compliance and we can close the case.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right. Moving on to C, case number 25303. This is with RHC Associates, doing business as Dunkin' Donuts at 1325 Beach Boulevard. This is also a continuance in regards to a non-conforming sign. This case was started back in January. As you can see, the sign was damaged during one of the storms in the past years. Just a couple other photos. This was the notice. And I did get a email from the property owner. They did obtain that estimate. And you should have it in your agenda packet with some photos. And I can let the property owner speak and give their information in regards to the estimate that they received, and then Christian can also follow up on what will be acceptable for them to, as far as keeping and changing the sign, because they gave a couple of different ways that they would replace that sign.
Okay. Christian, do you want to speak now or?
We can hear from the respondent first.
Okay. I believe that
If you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And if you can please state your name and address for the record.
Walter Amaral, 601 First Street South, Jacksonville Beach, 32250.
so, Mr. Emerald, did you provide this estimate from Persona Triangle?
Yes.
Okay. So, would you tell us a little bit about? I have a question. Well, why don't you just tell me what you want to say first, and then I'll ask questions.
We got the estimates for both ways, replacing the top sign and the bottom sign.
Can you speak closer into the microwave, or into the microwave,
And
into the mic?
and we have both estimates here.
Well, I'm looking. Am I missing in the materials that I have? I think I only see one. It's for two 2x4 rigid pylon replacement faces. I don't see another one.
You
I don't
should
think.
have one of these
Oh, just the photo. Oh, is that okay? Well, that's still from person. Oh,
and one of these.
well, I have two pictures. I have one option A and one option B. Is that what you
Yep.
want me to look
Yes,
at?
ma'am. That's
Okay,
right.
so the estimate for 2920, which one is that for? A or B?
2920 is option B.
This is for option B. Did they give you an estimate for A?
Yes.
How much was that?
Uh, it looks like it would be 8.
This is A or B.
That's A.
This is A. Okay.
Looks like it's 6632.48.
So there must be another estimate like this one, but for A. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was the only one that I received.
Okay, well, why don't you tell us about A and B?
Well, A would replace the top of the sign, and B would replace the middle of the sign and remove the posts.
And remove which part?
The posts that are extending upward right now.
Oh, B does that. Okay. And are both of these acceptable to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Either one?
Either one, but either one.
Either one. Okay. And so let me find the. If you remember, the reason that we wanted the estimates was because the provision in the code under 34450 provides that a non-conforming sign must be removed if it's damaged or allowed to deteriorate to such an extent that the cost of repair is 50% or more of the cost of replacement of the sign. And that's in 34-450 2C. So you have one estimate for the $2,920.34 for option B, and then $6632.48. Let's see what obviously, option B is less expensive. It also seems to me like option B was closer to what the city and you had talked about, I think, two
I would
hearings
agree.
ago. So, you know, I think you've said, you've testified that either one would be acceptable to you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to switch this up a little bit to let the city speak because they asked to let you go first.
Okay.
So I'd like to have that, have the city now talk about whether, one of these proposals, A or B, would, that whether or not they would recommend, one or any of the proposals. So you could sit right here if you'd like.
Okay.
Yep. And I don't know whether,
Christian.
okay, we're gonna let Christian. And
Yeah.
if you can, if you need a minute, that's fine.
No, I was just trying to see if there were measurements on this. Option B is closer in concept to what the code requires. Obviously, it doesn't have a total height, so I can't say it 100% would be correct, but I'm assuming that measurements will be adjusted when they pull the
Can you
permit.
speak? I apologize, but please, yeah.
In essence, there's a total height maximum, and I can't tell if this would meet that.
I'm sorry, I'm still not hearing him. I don't know whether you just have to get really close, but
I mean, I can hear the echo, but that's
I'm not hearing it up here. So,
okay. Well, I'll try to speak up. There are no height dimensions on this image, so I can't say for sure that this would meet our code, but I'm sure that could be adjusted during the permitting phase to ensure compliance.
what would be necessary? What is the maximum height the sign could be?
It's with. So the maximum height would be 10 feet, and the under the definition of a monument sign, in essence, that portion between the bottom of the sign face and the ground would have to be filled in with something, whether that's a panel or it's boxed in with wood or
Just
something like
boxed
that.
in?
It just has to be a monument sign, so they would have to just fill in that space. But otherwise, all things being equal, if the sign height and size is correct, then I think that would be moving in the right direction. Like I said, they'll have to get a permit, and at that point we can fine tune whatever needs to be fine tuned. But that is definitely more acceptable, and that's option B. Just to be clear.
So what I heard you say is, option B is the would be acceptable provided that the height is no greater than 10 feet of the sign, and that any space below the face, I'll call it the face of the sign, any space below the face of the sign or the cabinet that it's sitting in would have to be filled in, boxed in order to meet the code requirements, and a building permit would be required. Is there anything else? I mean, the building permit, would that include any kind of electrical?
Yeah,
and
if
that
it
kind
was
of thing?
necessary, it would include everything.
Okay. So, Mr. Emerald, do you please come back? Do you understand that what would be required in order to in order that the city can find your sign in compliance? There's three things that I'm hearing. Option B, generally speaking, the sign height can be no greater than 10 feet. And then number three, the area below the cabinet, between the cabinet and the ground, has to be filled in with some kind of a box, and so that it looks like, you can't see air under it, basically.
Okay.
And then the last thing is that you would have to apply for a building permit.
Okay.
So, and then of course it has to be inspected. It seems to me just that we could break this up a little bit. We could have that you must apply for the building permit within 30 days, and then I don't know what a reasonable time is for.
With the estimate, what was the time that they gave you that they could probably begin to work on the sign?
You can come forward, sir. You'll just need to do as you have in the past, be sworn in and state your name and address.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And if you please state your name and address for the record.
Karen Patel, 11657 Beach Boulevard, Jacksonville, 332246.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your first name.
Care.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so generally speaking, time frame for signage, just to kind of put it together for the signage people. Typically for them, for fabrication takes about 4 to 6 weeks alone. Fabrication, and then they ship it out.
Fabrication 4 to 6 weeks.
Yes, and then they ship it out to us, and then the installer, meanwhile, pull permit, depending on, how fast enough they get the drawings done, and then based on city approves. So we're typically looking at the whole project somewhere between 8 to 10 weeks minimum to complete the project after we have permit in hand.
8 to 10 weeks total.
Yes, because they don't go into fabrication until and unless we have permit in hand. Because then we made the measurements that city requires, so that we know that we have
So
assurance.
permit first,
first,
then fabrication,
then fabrication,
and then installation.
installation.
That makes sense. So go ahead, Mr.
Yeah, I was going to say that once they apply for the building permit, it's technically good for 180 days. I think as long as there's a reasonable effort to get it in, obviously we have to set a date when we come back to show that they're moving towards compliance. But
Okay, so
I would
okay.
say, if they need
so if
2
the
months,
building
that's
permit
fine.
gets issued, then we could close the case at that point, or do you want to leave it open to a future date?
So,
Personally, yeah,
October.
I think we would leave it open until we've verified that everything's good to go.
Okay.
But I don't think there's any reason to accrue fines if they apply for the permit.
Yeah, so I would say October 22nd, we would come back for that hearing to see if the permit has been applied for at that time. And then like Christian stated, we'll have 180 days from the date that the permit is issued to come back once the sign has been
Right,
completed.
but hopefully sooner.
Yes.
So October 22nd, the order will say no later than October 21st that you will have obtained a building permit. Or should we obtain or just
The
applied?
building permit, the application needs to be submitted.
Submitted, thank you. Application submitted by October 22nd. And then do you want, you've said 8 to 10 weeks. Do we want to say that maybe by January that the sign will be installed? And I'm just saying
Yeah.
otherwise
that's
you don't want
fine.
it to go the whole 180 days if you can help it.
No, that is for January is fine.
January?
Yeah, because by the time October comes, they apply for the permit. The permit gets issued. Then we're running into the holidays, so I would say January.
Okay. So I don't know the exact date in January for
January's hearing.
for January hearing, but I would say,
I-
10 days before the hearing.
Quick question to that though. What if city takes, a month to issue a permit? Because then we need to keep in mind after we get permit in hand, it's 4 to 6 weeks fabrication. So let's say hypothetically we get permit in hand end of November. We clearly don't have time to complete that in January.
So when you submit your application, if you submit a sufficient permit application,
Okay.
it goes pretty quickly. So it more so depends on you submitting everything that is required for the application. So as long as you have a sufficient application, you'll be fine.
You know, the way to address that is to, submit as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Submit your application as soon as possible. So if there are things that need to be corrected, they can be corrected or supplemented sooner rather than later. We're already giving you till October 22nd to apply, but it sounds to me like the best idea might be to apply as soon as possible, and then
January 22nd.
January 22nd. So what I'd like to see is that the sign would be completed by the 15th of January, the construction and inspection done by the 15th. So that's almost 3 months, not quite, from October 22nd. I mean, even if you went to the latest date possible. So, I think that's that should give you enough time to move forward.
Absolutely. I mean, as long as we get permit, it's just the reason I brought it up because just for Duval County alone, I don't know, we don't have to go through this, but it took me 1 year to get a permit for my new construction building. 1 year. So keeping that in mind, I mean, we don't want get stuck January why it's not done when we can clearly move forward without having permit in hand.
Yeah, we're a
So
smaller municipality.
Okay.
So
Do you would you prefer maybe for us to say that you need to submit your application by the September hearing date, so that that's September 24th, I think
Yes.
we've said, and that gives you a month to 4 weeks. It gives you
right, but I mean, practically speaking, it requires some work done for us to submit everything over to city, from drawings to engineering. It takes time. We're honoring that October 2 months. We can squeeze
okay.
that,
We'll
get it
leave it
done.
up
So wouldn't
October
that all be
22nd.
included in the estimate that you've already received?
So that's the basic survey they do.
Okay.
That's a whole engineering that requires because we're adding on top of we're boxing the remaining space
At the
bottom, which is not in there.
Right.
So now they have to come back out again. They have to redo survey, the entire survey again, and then, which October is fine. We can squeeze it, no problem. It's just that I want to be very clear that intentions are very clear that we want to get it done. We do want to have sign there sooner.
So
It's just that
once you
what I was suggesting is that once we have issued sign, then if you give us that time within that time period, you need to have that sign up and install. It's something that what I was expecting. So for say November is when the issue was the permit was issued. So then we have if you're taking six weeks the fabrication and all that. So we're talking about by then. So it's not a specific date that I need to meet. It's just specific the time period.
well the permit once the permit has been issued, you have 180 days.
Okay.
So even when we come back, say in January, and it's still in the process, we can continue it then because your permit won't be
Okay.
expired. So as long as the process is moving, then you're fine. You're not going to be set at a specific date
Okay.
because, again, like you said, with engineering and getting all that, you don't know this specific time period. So as long as we see that it's in progress, then it'll be fine because you have 180 days from the date that
Okay.
the permit is issued.
That works. That's good enough.
Okay.
So what I heard you say,
We're going to follow up in January.
we'll follow up in January. We won't include a completion date,
Correct.
but we'll see you again in January to determine how it's going.
So October, we'll make sure that the permit has been
Applied
submitted.
for.
Yes. Well, the application has been submitted, and then January we'll follow up on where we are
Right.
with the sign being
Okay.
installed.
Okay. Does anybody have anything to add? Mr. Emerald? No, you're good? Okay.
Christian.
I,
Yep.
for the record, I saw you shake your head, yes. Anything else?
The city has nothing else for him.
No?
No.
Okay. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
again for
Thank
being here.
All right, Your Honor, we're going to move around a little bit.
Okay, let me
Okay.
put these away. Okay, so
Yeah.
we've done old business A, B, and C, and you want to move around a little bit
Yeah,
on the new
so
business?
yes. For new business, we're gonna jump down to D since
D,
Ms. Huffman is here.
okay.
All right. This is
This is case number,
25345.
thank you.
Linda Huffman, 501 16th Avenue South. Let me. Okay. This is a nuisance violation case of debris, and so this was the initial. At the time that the property was cited was on May 7th. It was for the overgrowth, junk, and debris. Ms. Huffman has complied. The overgrowth, however, in the rear of the property, we have an accumulation of junk and debris that's back here in the rear yard that has not been addressed. Yes. So these are my photos from May 7th. This was the notice of hearing on August 7th. And this is the latest photo from August 26th.
August 26th, that would be yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. And so specifically then, in regards to, I had a couple things. So the items, wait a minute, are, are you saying that the violation of 19-1B1 has been corrected?
No. So I don't have the violation of the overgrowth. That I did not list that on the notice because she had already complied that. So 19
Oh, it's
2,
just two.
yeah,
Okay,
2
I'm with you.
and 2 and 3
Two
are
and
both.
three.
Yes.
So the
One was already
accumulation of
compliant.
trash, and number 3, any condition which provides harborage for vermin. I'll
Yes.
just say. Well, you'll have your chance to speak in just a moment, please. Thank you. Did you take this picture yesterday,
Yes,
Miss
Your Honor.
Beaver?
Our pictures are date stamped.
I see the
And I
date.
spoke with Ms. Huffman yesterday when I came and took these photos.
Okay. And then that was August.
Wait a minute. I don't remember seeing you yesterday. Ms. Huffman, if you want to speak, you can come up so you can get sworn in and then we can have a discussion.
Okay. Just a moment. Just a moment, please. Was anyone with you yesterday?
No, Your Honor, but I also cited her for a vehicle that did not have a valid license plate on there. So today she brought the sticker that I asked her for yesterday, and she brought it. So this was a conversation we had yesterday.
Okay. I do have one question, and I couldn't tell from was there a notice of violation, a written notice of violation issued on May 7th?
Yes, it was.
I didn't see it in the in the packet.
I didn't include the violation notice in the packet, but if you need to see it, I can go grab it.
I think it's important. It the code requires a notice ahead of time and allows the owner 20 days. Um,
I have been working with Ms. Huffman for probably about 4 or 5 years. So
Okay.
this has been an ongoing, reoccurring issue.
Okay,
Yes.
but your testimony is that you did issue, and it's required in section 19-3.
Yes. Everybody, the same date that the violation, the notices, that's why the pictures are date stamped, a violation notice goes out as well.
Okay.
So property owners are issued a initial violation notice for 15 days when there's a nuisance case. And then after the 15 days, as you can see in the follow-ups on dates of the inspections that was included in the packet, after the 15 days, a second inspection is then done on the property, and a final violation notice is then given to the property owner. And then after that inspection of 7 days, I go back to the property, and if it's still not in compliance, that's when it'll become an abatement. Currently, the city does not have a city contractor, so this is the first time I've had to bring nuisance cases before the special magistrate because we don't have a city contractor. He's having some health issues right now, so normally they would not come before
Right.
you.
Okay, and could you just explain what the lot clearing notice that was dated July the 14th that you reference here?
So
What was that?
that was the lot clearing notice that would have went to the property owner by certified mail. And then that notice is also given to the city contractor. And that's when I reached out to the city contractor and he let me know that he was having some health issues and that he wouldn't be able to do the work at that time.
So this was notice pursuant to what section?
The what what was
The July 14th notice.
was for the same violations.
Now, I know that. I meant is there a provision in the code that provides for that lot clearing?
As far as the abatement, lot clearing, yes, I don't have that in front of me as far as these specific, but it is under notices,
And was that
and it also is listed under abatement.
was that hand delivered?
It was sent certified mail.
Certified mail. Okay.
But it falls up under abatement.
I see that under 19-6.
Okay.
The abatement. Okay. And what is we're almost there, Ms. Huffman. What is the city's recommendation regarding this?
So, being that Ms. Huffman has a number of cases, open cases on the property, one of them that we were going to bring before you if it wasn't in compliance at the next hearing, she's working on the fence. So, my recommendation, and the same thing that I told Ms. Huffman, to wait putting up the fence till she cleared the rear yard so that the fence would not be in the way. But 30 days, like I said, this case has been open since May. This has been a reoccurrence for a number of years. But 30 days would be my recommendation to remove all of the debris from the rear yard. And after the 30 days, begin a daily fine.
So, okay. And the $250 per day?
We can do 100.
100. So 30 days would be after our next hearing. Would you like it to be?
I would say our next hearing.
To our next hearing? Okay.
September 24th.
And that's September 24th.
Correct.
Okay. If you must be Ms. Huffman, but we need you to please state your name, your address, and be sworn in by the clerk, please.
Linda C. Huffman.
One moment, if you could hit the red button to turn your microphone on. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Linda, ooh, Linda C. Huffman, 501 16th Avenue South, Jacksonville Beach, Florida, 32250-4932.
And do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank
I
you,
do.
ma'am.
You may proceed.
Well, Nikki Beavers has had a long-standing target, and I'm it. I'm the target. I've always been the target. The original, if you look at the original notice, it was for a dilapidated fence. It wasn't for anything else. It was for a dilapidated fence. Now, we live on a swamp, and grasses grow high. I have no problem with that. I have a man named Marco. He does everybody on the block. He comes every week or 10 days. That's taken care of, okay? But there is an easement at the front of the house that has some flowering plants, green plants, tall plants with red flowers on top that were planted by the previous owners. I'm only the second owner. I've been in that house for 35 years. I'm 70 years old and I live alone. My only child was killed by a drunk driver right here in Jacksonville Beach on her way home from work at 5:15 in the afternoon. I consider that much more important than weeds. And I'm not going to stand out in 115-degree heat pulling weeds that my neighbors bring their dogs to pee on, and then they kill the red flowering plants, the pretty ones. I've had a lot of frustration with this, and to my horror, I came home one night and there was a big orange sticker on my front door for everybody to see. Linda was a bad girl. And yes, this isn't the first time, but I live on $2,006 a month and I have a $458 first mortgage. I have to pay $800 in flood insurance. I also have to pay a monthly add-on to the regular first mortgage. They have to add the state insurance because I can't afford, the private insurance. I have a lot on my plate. Mowing the grass is not a problem because what I do is I pay Marco in gasoline cards. I can at least put that on a charge card and pay it off, slowly. But the the pile that she's talking about are clothes that I bought. I've lost a lot of weight. I used to weigh 267. Well, I got up to 270 after the death of my daughter. And it took me like 20 years to get down to where I am now. And during this whole process, this current process, I've had to cancel 3 colonoscopies by Dr. Bass, 3 of them, because I just couldn't do it all. And I don't have a car of my own. I have a rental car right now that my grandson is paying for, and it's costing a fortune. But, every so often I have to get a car so that we can get things done. And to get improvements like this time with the car, I handled, the contracting myself because I can't pay a contractor. I have no money for that. So I had to make the calls and get the estimates myself, which was exhausting, for a new gutter, which got put in. Having the trees in the backyard, there's 3 live oaks that are side by side. The first owners planted them in a 10-foot area, and across the yard, because they had 3 kids, and they thought, well, we're gonna plant 3 live oaks. So, I can't take the trees down because of the ordinance, but I had to find somebody that would, at a cost that was, I took 3 estimates.
And the
And
estimates for what?
to get the trees trimmed back. And because there was a huge limb which he cut off that was headed right for the house. It was about 2 feet from the roof line. Now, we're talking about 3 live oaks in the backyard, okay? They're higher that you can see it from the front of the house. If you stand on the pad, the driveway pad, you can see these trees above the roof line. If they get hit by lightning, or if they catch fire when they get hit by lightning, or they topple over when they get hit by lightning, they do uproot. A guy named Glenn at a cut above was the one who came out and, did the trimming. And he said it wouldn't have been too long before it had lifted the new roof that I had to put on like everybody else a few years ago. I live on a very tight budget. I do the best I can. I buy clothes at Goodwill or at Target when they're on the clearance rack. Everything is clearance. And I needed to move out the old clothes that, I told you I weighed some under the patio roof. I didn't know that was a big deal. I didn't know that would cause a problem, that anything would, they're clothes. Now, I had some food too, but it's not like meals, like frozen meals or anything like that. It was stuff in jars, cans, like ravioli. At Publix, they have a clearance table. I have to buy food on the clearance table, like green beans and soup, and that's what I live on. And that's why I lost this weight, too. But, I like to sit out on my patio. And that fence, I just couldn't afford it at the time to get it fixed. And the back fence fell completely down. And the original, if you look at the original paperwork, it is for a dilapidated fence, which today has been put up. I went with them to Home Depot this morning. He had a crew out there of half a dozen people, including 2 of his own sons. And it's Jason, who had a daughter with my daughter before she was killed. And she was killed by a drunk driver, by the way, at 5:15 on a Friday afternoon here in Jacksonville Beach. I'm more worried about that than I am weeds and grass and a dilapidated fence, although I wanted to get a new fence, but I don't have discernible income, okay? I can't just throw things away. My car is tagged and, permitted every year when I buy the decal, because I don't want that car not being there, because I want people to know that somebody lives here. Without a car, it's more likely, the house is going to get broken into. Now, I want to bring up something else. It's a conflict of interest. It was a conflict of interest the first day she walked onto my property without any notice at all, and she got out of the city vehicle and she walked over and she was friendly with the guy that I had hired, Carlos Williams, to do carpentry. And I hired him because he did the house 2 doors down from me. And I stopped him one day and I said, I have some repairs that need, redoing, like the siding. The T111 was rotted out. And, I wanted the T111 replaced. And he and I went to Lowe's and found the right lumber and everything, got that done. But then, it seemed like they were really good buddies, and all of a sudden,
just from a timing perspective, when did Carlos come? When did that happen?
I would have it in
About.
my phone.
Are we talking a few months ago?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
like April, maybe April
Okay.
or May. It was. I mean, I have the photos
That's fine.
that he did, so it would have the date on it. But anyway, she came unannounced in the city vehicle and gets out and says Carlos Williams and blah blah blah. So she actually got, on my property that day, and then one afternoon I was sitting in the back patio under the, cover, and I got up. This was in the afternoon. It was about 4 o'clock. I got up to see if the mail had come in. So I went to the front of the house, and I sat at the front of the house. And then sometime later, I would say between 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes later, it was probably 30 minutes later going by the letters she wrote, which I felt dirty after I read it. It was so meticulous. And anyway, she drives up 5th Street because I'm on the corner of 16th and 5th. And I see her red wagon with the seal of City of Jax Beach. She turns the corner. She gets out on the road. She didn't even pull onto the pad. And she's on the other side of the car, on the driver's side of the car. And she's yelling over. She said, I knocked on your door. And I said, you couldn't have, because I was sitting right here. Okay? And before this, I was sitting in the backyard, and you're coming from the backyard, so you and I would have crossed. And so, anyway, this has been going on for some time.
What do you think? You said at the beginning of this part of the testimony that there was a conflict of interest. What are you referring to?
Because I hired Carlos to do repairs on the siding, and there were some other things he was going to do. Windows. I was going to give him the whole house to redo windows. And he discussed private business between him and me. That is just something you don't do when you're in business. And then her showing up, I figured he called her to have her come out and inspect my property.
Well, I don't think that it doesn't sound like Miss Beavers did something wrong.
Well, but she showed up, and she wasn't in her uniform, but she was all dressed up. Her hair was pulled back, and but she was in the city vehicle again, the red wagon, and I felt that was a real conflict of interest, and I fired him. There was no reason for him to call her. He said he saw a mouse. She didn't see a mouse. I didn't see a mouse. I don't see a mouse anywhere in the paperwork. And I've been going through this now for months. And, I try my best. I'm 70 years old. My legs are bad. And I'm trying my best to get everything, but I had to get, before I could, when she finally gave me a code violation on the fence, it said dilapidated fence. Okay, but I wanted to get the trees trimmed and the gutter up, because they're moving in, a cherry picker for the trees. And also, the guy that put in the gutters also had, a big truck that he was using to stand in, to put that on. And I didn't want to put up a new fence, have them knock it down if they missed. But anyway, the fence is up today. The whole crew was out there today.
Do you have pictures?
No, because I had to get here before it was finished, but the fence is finished. I went with them
Well, you
to,
came here, so
yeah,
you know,
I had to come here to the hearing, and
right.
I didn't know I was going to be last, otherwise I could have taken some pictures because I had to, run to get here on time, and I didn't know I was going to be last. If I'd known that, I would have had time enough to take the pictures, but I can always send them to you. Everything's done. I went with them to Home Depot. We picked out the hardware.
So that's for the
And
fence. You're saying
that the original violation was dilapidated fence.
okay. And
It
do you
wasn't about a pile under the roof of the patio. It wasn't about anything but the dilapidated fence. And the dilapidated fence is no more today.
okay.
And a brand new fence.
Okay. Is there anything?
Front, side, and back, and a new walk-through gate, and a side gate in case another truck has to come through.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say at this point? I'll give you another chance, but I need to ask Miss Beaver some questions.
I can't think of anything right now. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of when we got. Yeah, I do want to say something. When I moved here in 1989, August of 1989,
Into the house?
yes,
That's when you moved into this house?
yes, I've been in this house since August of 1989. We got down here in time to get my daughter into school, and we couldn't really find anything that we could afford. My husband and I. We had come from the horse business up in Kentucky. He was from South Florida. I was from Northeast Jersey, New Jersey, and we met while we were working for trainers in Kentucky. And one day we just decided, what are other people doing that aren't in the horse business? Like we've done everything because he showed as a kid just like I did. So we grew up in it. And we worked for the top trainers. And we had pretty much done everything we wanted to do in that business. So we came down here. He was from Hollywood, Florida, but we didn't want to go that far south. My sister-in-law's husband worked for AT&T. They moved here to Jacksonville, to Hidden Hills. She told me how wonderful Jacksonville was. You guys need to come here. So we did. And it was a disaster. The only house that we could afford was the house that I'm in, the one in question, and it was $79,000, and it was an assumable VHA loan, so we didn't have any problem. We could just go right into it, And we moved in on my birthday, December 20th, and then he got into beach life. Drinking alcohol during the day, staying out at night. Monkey's uncle was just one block over, and I'm working full time at AT&T and answering the phones and greeting people at the Remax real estate office on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm working at Publix one weekend day and 3 nights a week. So my poor daughter, had a mother that had to work 3 jobs while he was out there spending his inheritance. And so we got a divorce, and my mother saved me because I said, I've looked around, there's no place that I can afford with the work that I'm doing right now. And I need to stay in this house. We have an assumable mortgage. It's a quick deed over to me, and I don't want to be moving Melissa around, and so I stayed in the house. So I've been in that house for 35 years. Okay. And, I put down tile floor. I put a lot back into the house, and now the outside's beautiful. I painted it twice. This is the second time. The aqua color has been there for a few years. So that I take pride in my house. I take pride in my property. It's a beautiful piece of property, but the easement is attached to it, and under the ground are the AT&T wires and IQ fiber and
Is that the
all of it.
easement in the front of the house?
No, it's down the Fifth Street side.
Okay.
The easement at the front of the house, though, is where, like the public utilities, there's a water pipe there.
In the right of way.
Yeah, in the right of way that's in front of the house. And that's where there's 2 palm trees on the easement and then another palm tree in that same area on my property. And those flowers are, where those 2 city easement palm trees are, those things. And I do get out there and I do weed them, but I don't do it in 115-degree heat. I don't think it's that important. And I also, like I said, I let it grow like that too, because unfortunately there are a lot of dogs being walked and people bring them, they think.
Well, I thought that you said that you're having Mr. Marcos mow it on a regular basis. Is that
Right, but I'm talking about she wanted me to weed around those flowers, and I like to keep a barrier between the dog pee and the flowers. And you can see they're already getting yellow, and that's from dog pee. Anyway, look, I'm sick of as a dog. I really am. I have a hernia that I haven't taken care of for years, okay? Because I don't have a lot of money. I don't have the money to get operations, and my grandson has helped me. He's paying for a lot of these repairs on the house. Just today, Jason gave me a figure of $4,000 on the fence. That's on top of what I paid this morning at Home Depot, $2,000, but I got it on a 2-year. I have 2 years to pay it off, and
okay?
so I'm doing the best I can. I don't own a running car, but I do keep the sticker on it. I keep it parked because I don't want people to see an empty driveway and think nobody's at home.
So, I heard your testimony that the fence has been replaced.
When I go home, I can't wait to get home because they were all out there when I drove by before I got to here.
Nikki, could you go to the pictures of the backyard, please? From
All of that has been mowed for weeks.
Excuse me. Let me finish. No, I want that one.
This one, okay.
The one you took yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. I do see that the yard does look like it's mowed.
And I got 2 boxes at Home Depot, about the size of this, one of these tables. I got 2 of them, and they're about this high, and they're rectangle like that. They're supposed to put the boxes together today so that the cushions could go in there, the seat, I bought some outdoor furniture cushions at Home Depot. It was on sale 70% off. So they're going in those boxes. So I'm clearing out everything, but it's just little by little. And
so this was taken yesterday.
I don't know.
That's what it looks like.
That's what she says.
Is this what, when you left, is this what the house today, is it generally look like this? Same picture?
Well, yeah, except that the boxes, it's to the right there. In the middle of the picture, there are 2 boxes that are supposed to have been assembled today so that I could put the seating cushions in them. And
How long will it take you to remove the rest of the of this?
Well, I've already had the rent a car for a month. My grandson's paying for that, and so I've got to get that back. And I'm
Wait,
trying.
you got
and,
it for you. You
um,
have to return the car. Is that what you're saying?
well, yeah, it gets expensive for him. So what I wanted to do was get my old clothes out of the closet. That don't fit me. Some of them are too small. Some of them are too big. Because I'm one of those people that fluctuates. And I've got to get the old clothes out. I've got to get the new clothes hung inside.
Where are the new clothes now?
They're in some of the packages under the roof line. It's not all clothes. There's like I buy clearance items like
So
Christmas.
let me ask you again, just very clearly. How long will it take you to clear out the backyard?
I think a month.
A month.
I do. To do it right, yes. Because I
Okay.
don't want to just throw it somewhere else. I want to get it organized. I've got 3 bedrooms, my master and 2 side bedrooms.
So
But I've got clothes in there, hanging in those closets that were my grandson when he lived there, and honestly, some of when my daughter was there.
okay.
So I got to get all that out
Thank you.
before I can get the other stuff in.
Okay, thank you. Nikki, are there in regards to the in regards to the accumulation of trash and number 3, the harborage for vermin, are there violations currently in the front yard? Because I see that you took this picture yesterday. Did you take any pictures of the front yard? So this was the front yard yesterday,
This was August 7th.
August 7th, so a little bit earlier.
And you can see there's a lot of flooding on my property, unfortunately.
So it definitely looks like the yard again has been mowed.
Right.
It's hard for me to see in this photograph that, is there still,
There are some
violation
items on the front, but nothing like the back.
so are you satisfied with the front as long as it stays like this?
Correct.
And then in the back, if she would to remove all of the things that are in the photograph that we can see, and you can give her a copy of the photograph, just so that you
I don't
understand.
need the photograph. I
Well,
can see it. I know what's
okay,
there.
okay, good. Then you know that it needs to be cleaned
Right.
up, and you're saying you can do that in 30 days. Actually, I think the date would be September 24th, which is 28 days from today, I believe. 28 days.
Can we just make it September 30th? I don't know what day of the week that
Well,
is.
Our next hearing is September 24th.
Yeah, they've said it by
It's the fourth Wednesday.
we
of the month.
function by hearing dates. So because they don't want me to come out another time. They don't want me to have to come out another time.
You don't,
I'm not here all the time.
you're from downtown.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, it used to be, I think, that you had to go downtown, right?
And isn't that nice?
Yeah.
You don't have
I
to do that
know.
anymore.
I was happy about
Um,
that.
So
But I just wanted you to know I have done upgrades to
and
the
I can
house.
see that you've made some progress, and I can see that you've mowed the yard, and I think that is exactly why Nikki did not include the violation for number 1 under the code.
Yeah, Marco comes out regularly.
Good. So I think what I'm going to do is that give you the until September 24th.
What day of the week is that?
It's going to be a Wednesday, just like today. A Wednesday, and
so is
we'll
the
have another
hearing-
hearing at 2:00 on Wednesday, September 24th.
So I don't really. Okay, so I have until the 23rd to get it really cleaned up.
Well, you can bring pictures in also on the 20. I mean, if you take them that morning,
On the
get-
24th.
as long as they're dated, and and you show us that, I'm willing to accept evidence.
Now I want to address something. I'm sorry,
Well, wait,
but
wait.
I okay, go ahead.
Um,
I'll be
so,
short.
I do want to, you know, if you would, I would like to make sure that next time you bring or provide me
Yes,
ahead of
I'll
time
make
the
the
copies
violation
of the different
notices. Yes.
notices, so that I can see all of that
Okay.
and what it was for and that question. So I'm going to rule that we're going to continue the hearing until September 24th and allow you the time between today and
I appreciate that.
to address, to maintain the front yard, to address and remove the,
From the back.
clean up the back, and was there anything else?
I have something I need to say. The west side of the house is completely clean. Okay, front and back. You know, there's a fence panel that separates on the west side that would be next to my next door neighbor. I'm on a corner, so I don't have some house right, on that street next to me. But I do have on the west side of the house, I have a neighbor right next to me. So that side of the house is clean, front and back. Okay, I worked on the last bit in the last couple of days. The east side of the house is clean on the outside of the fence, and the back in the easement is taken care of by the city, so I don't have to worry about that. But I do have a genuine grievance with her just walking on my property unannounced. Now, that first day, when she pulled up, I was sitting out front. I had been sitting on the back patio. There's no way we didn't cross each other if she had been there when she said she was. Please let me finish. And then she gets out of the car and she goes, "Oh, I knocked on your door." Well, I was sitting in the back patio, and then she said she went to the back patio, and I went from the back patio and walked up to the front. We would have crossed paths. That's all I'm saying. Two more times she walked on my property without notice.
What kind of
Okay.
notice do you think is you want?
Well, she needs to let me know that she's coming to inspect. I mean, you don't just walk onto somebody's property. And one day she brought somebody else with her from the city. I don't know who it was. It was pouring rain. I was sitting in my rent-a-car on the pad at the front of the house. And when I backed out of the pad onto 16th and turned to go down 5th, to where the fence line was, I saw her and another woman getting into the car. It was pouring rain. She brought somebody else onto the property. I don't know who it was, but I tried following her. And when I got to this building, that woman got out of a white car. Now, I know normally you don't drive a white SUV, but you were back
Okay,
in the backyard
ma'am,
with a woman.
Miss Huffman.
And that was just
No.
there was another time that she was on my property unannounced.
So, are you saying that you would just like Miss Beavers to knock on your door?
Well,
Is that what? Wait, I'm asking you a very specific question.
I would like to know if you're on my property, yes. Because maybe I need to be able to answer questions that she might have. Okay, and maybe bring her up to date on where I am with things.
So the code does authorize the code enforcement officer in Chapter 19 to access property. So
Well,
to address a nuisance. So
okay, let me.
I, I'm just gonna. I'm
I
gonna
didn't
leave it
know
there.
that. I
No,
didn't know that. And because when we bought this house, we bought it because we did not want to live in a gated community with, whatever they call the covenants. Okay, but here we are in Jack's Beach.
yeah,
We've got covenants now.
yes, we have a land development code and we have ordinance codes that require people to maintain
That
their
code,
property.
I tried to read it. It is so huge. It's like 152 pages.
Well, if you read just chapter 19, it's actually only about
It says I
6
can't.
pages.
No, I sat down at the library. There was page after
Okay,
page about what
I'm
you can
sorry,
what
ma'am.
you
Mrs.
can't,
Huffman,
ma'am. You can't even, Your Honor. I'm sorry, but I read this in the current code that I can't even keep certain items in a cooler in the backyard, even if it's insulated.
thank you.
It is a very detailed code.
Thank you
And
very
I
much.
did not buy that house to live in a gated community with covenants.
Thank you.
That's my fine.
We will, you've heard that Mrs. Huffman has testified she will have the backyard cleaned up.
It's already cleaned.
We will come back on September the 24th. In the event that Mrs. Huffman, in the event it is not cleaned up, when you come back on September 24th, I will then implement $100 per day violation.
You're not going to have to worry about that. But that is an old picture.
Thank you.
That's been mowed 10 times since that photo. But I don't mow
Wait.
yards in 100-degree weather. Marco comes and does it.
We're not talking about mowing the yard. We're talking about cleaning up the.
Well, you're showing a weedy picture. It hasn't looked like
Okay.
that in a long
We will switch over to the August 26th of the backyard. That's what I want to see cleared.
But that's
What I want to see cleared no later
all of that disappear.
than September 24th.
That's why I got those storage chests.
It's going to take a lot of
So do I
storage
need-
chests.
so do
It's
I-
going to take more than 2. I can guarantee
No,
that.
I got the storage chests for the summer cushions.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the clothes or any
No,
of that.
we're
Don't worry.
thank you.
I'm gonna dump it all. I'm gonna dump it all, and I'm gonna yelp about Jacksonville Beach.
Thank you very
Because
much.
you've turned into a gated community. And I am sorry, but nobody walks on my property unannounced. And she did it 3 times with someone else one time. Am I done?
Yes.
Keep your headphones if you're leaving. Oh, yeah. I need to get back there. The men are there. And I haven't given
Please.
them the check yet, so I've got to get back there. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Do we have other items?
I just need to close them, yes. But as you can see, you can stand from the road and you can see that.
Right. I see.
Okay,
And-
so for here, we're going to come back on September 24th.
Yes.
Okay,
And bring additional photographs.
I'll bring the
And-
violation notice that was issued. Like I said, there are 3 additional cases. She has one for the fence, she has one for the vehicle.
Okay. Now, what have we not covered?
Okay, so that was
That was D.
that was D. So let's go back
So
up
we have
to
A.
yes, A. That is case number 25372.
Yes.
Let's go back. We can run through these.
I have to say on the record that this is the first time that I've been really happy that our policeman is in the room. I appreciate being here.
Okay. So this was a nuisance case for overgrowth trash and debris. As you can see, this is 2715 America Avenue. This is the property. This was originally July 15th.
Yeah.
This was taken on August 11th. This is the front porch.
Both pictures are August 11th.
No, the first one was July 15th. This
No,
was,
I'm sorry. I'm seeing two.
yes. These
Okay.
two are July 15th. Then when I went back, this was because I had not had any contact with the property owner, but this when I went to go knock on the door, I was able then to see what the front porch looked like. Then I went back on the 26th of this month. So the property owner, she was here today. I did let her know that because it's in progress. She did clean the porch up. I'm not sure if I had that, but the porch is cleaned. And as you can see here, some of the grass has been cut. I had a discussion with her. She's working on the bed right here. That was a garden. And she just asked for 30 days. And I told her that,
To the next
yes,
hearing.
yes.
Okay.
So this one is in progress.
Do you want?
Just
Or
to,
would you recommend $100 a day after that, or do you want to see where she is on September 24th?
we can see where she is on September
Okay.
24th and just to also put in the order to keep it maintained.
To what?
To keep it maintained
Yes. Well, we're going to come back and see whether or
if
not
she
she's
comes
in
into
compliance.
compliance. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
That is 25,372.
Yes.
The next one I think is 25-271.
Yes. This is Alexander G. Moore and Michelle Moore, 1316 South First Street, case number 25-271. This was a nuisance case as well. This case was originally started on July 31st, as you can see the overgrowth. This was the rear. This was also part of the rear. I went back on August 26th. The property has been brought into compliance.
What day was that?
August 26th.
Oh, yesterday.
Yes.
And these are photos from yesterday?
Yes, and this is the rear.
So complete compliance?
Yes,
Okay, and I will say that property needs to be maintained.
correct.
Okay.
The last one, I believe. Yeah, let's make sure. No, we have two more. All right. The next one, Kevin J. Brashik et al. And Mary F. Brashik and Megan Reinhardt at 1403 Declaration Drive, case number 25357. This was a nuisance case for overgrowth, junk, and debris. This is the property. This was July 31st. This is the front. The violation is actually on the right side of the property where the camper and the trailer is, and on the left side. So the first picture is showing the right side of the property. The second picture is showing the left side of the property, the overgrowth. That was the notice of hearing. This picture was taken on the 26th, showing that the property has been brought into compliance.
Okay. So same thing, compliance and maintenance.
Correct. All right. Our last case. Let's see. Is property owner 2018 2IH borrower LP Invitation Homes, and the current tenant, don't know the tenant's name, but I have spoken with him. This was at 822 10th Avenue South, case number 25373. I did speak to the property owner, I guess the property manager, Jackie. This was in regards to a heavy vehicle being parked in the city right away and not meeting the setback requirements. As you can see, when this picture was originally taken July 23rd, It was parked in the city right away.
Mm-hmm.
On this day, I did speak with the tenant and
And
advised.
was it the tenant's truck
Yes, it's
vehicle?
the tenant's. It's his trailer.
And you spoke to the tenant that day?
Yes, and I advised him that the trailer needed to be moved. He stated that he would move it into the driveway. I advised him then that even when he moved it into the driveway, it had to meet the setback requirements. Um, this is pretty much a estimate of where the property line is, and you can see where for 822 where it was parked. Then this is a picture when I went back on August 7th where the trailer was moved into the driveway, but it did not meet the setback requirements.
What day was that?
August 7th.
7th? Okay.
And then I went back on August 26th, and you can see the trailer has been moved. It is all the way back to the garage area and is now in compliance. I spoke with him today and advised him that the property, the trailer was in compliance and that the case would be closed.
Okay.
And that concludes all my cases for today.
And again, that one would say in compliance but must maintain.
Correct.
Okay. I don't have anything else for you. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you bringing, those other notices
Mm-hmm.
so that I can see that the requirements of the code have been met as far as notice.
Yeah.
And I do think it's also important to that the notices say as reflecting on the summaries that you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
that specifically what the problem is.
Yeah.
And that's I think very helpful.
Okay. So yeah,
For-
I was trying to make it a lot
not just for
easier.
me,
So now you have everything.
Not just for me, but I do think it's also helpful for the public and you guys to be able to say this is what the problem
Yeah,
is.
I think it was better for us to put everything all in one
Right.
spot.